Vaccination Party got registered legally today, which means that candidates can use the name and say they represent the No Mandatory Vaccination Party if they're a candidate. The point is, the problem at the moment is we just don't have enough candidates. We've got a very big membership now, about 1,700, which is probably the third biggest behind Liberal and Labor. I'd say we're ahead of the Greens. We've got a big membership, but we just don't have enough candidates. We've only got 12 candidates in the Legislative Assembly, and the Greens are going to have 59 candidates in all of their seats. They always do. And people are asking me, what does a candidate have to do? Well, to be honest, a candidate doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything. And do we need them to do anything? The answer for that is we don't really need them to do anything. Because everybody's new, there's a lot of problems you can run into legally when you're a candidate. Just small things like you need to put authorisations on any printed material. It has to say authorised by, you put my name down, Cam Tinley of 2 Rosebery Avenue, South Perth, and the name of the company that printed it. Printed by such and such of such and such. Those two things have to go on any printed material. So that's any stickers, any core flutes, posters, any pamphlets. Those things have to go on there. And if you don't do that, you can run into problems. But all of our material, we want to produce it centrally. So really, all the candidate does is really to get the members who I can provide, the members in your electorate, and then get them to distribute the pamphlets and do things such as that. It's just a coordination thing. But we need to have candidates in the seat so that the people can help them. And if we don't have those candidates, it's all a little bit of a waste. It's important that we get the candidates. There's not really that much to do. There's not a problem. I've done it several times and it's an enjoyable experience. People are apprehensive about it because they haven't done it before, but there really is not a problem in being a candidate. We've only got one policy, that's to oppose Section 158, and our second policy is to make sure that vaccinations, there is a conscientious objection clause in the law to make sure people can opt out of vaccinations for themselves or their children. They're the two things we want to do, but the main thing is oppose Section 158. And if you're a candidate, that's all you say, we're against Section 158 and we have conscientious objection to vaccination. That's all you have to say. You don't have to go into anything else, so you're not going to get tripped up. Just stick to those two things if you get asked. And you probably won't get asked anyway. But we need those names on the ballot paper because the ballot papers are going to be a record size at the next state election. I was in at the Electoral Commission today. They showed me the ballot papers from the last election. These ones are going to be even bigger because there's more parties, there'll be more independents. So you've got the Legislative Assembly, and we need to have our name, No Mandatory Vaccination Party, on the Legislative Assembly ballot paper so that people can see that the name is there. Then they'll look for it on the Legislative Council ballot paper. But if we're not on the Legislative Assembly ballot paper, people will vote for someone else, then they'll look for that name. They'll just won't even notice. Because if you've got a record-sized ballot paper, people aren't going to look very far. They're going to look at the first 10. They're not going to look at the whole 40, 50, 60 names there. And they might miss no mandatory vaccination. So there's going to be huge queues at this election, and it's going to be a stressful situation. It's going to be stressful because they've brought in all these rules about COVID-19. It's going to be an unfamiliar situation, and people are going to want to get out of there. So they may just vote to get out because it's going to be such an oppressive sort of an environment. So we need to have those candidates. It costs $250 to be a candidate. People are saying it's $500 or $1,000 or $2,000, which is federal. For a state, it's only $250. I spoke to the Commissioner today. He said it's $250. So, and if the candidate gets 4% of the vote, you get the $250 back. And if you don't get the $250, you've worked hard for a good cause, and it's tax deductible as well. Not that this is about money, but there's not really much to lose financially. That's all you have to do, because all the pamphlets, if we get donations, the people won't have to fork out for that. It's just going to be a matter of distributing the pamphlets. So that's what we're after. We're after candidates just let me know if you could be a candidate. We have lots of people putting their name forward and then pulling their name out and getting nervous about the whole situation. But why shouldn't you be nervous? The only thing you should be nervous about is what's going to happen if we don't have candidates and these vaccinations become mandatory. That's something to worry about, not worrying about whether you're not going to look good in a photo or something like that. We probably won't even have any photos. So there's nothing to worry about, because this is the biggest issue in history, the mandatory vaccination, and we can't lose and not get people elected because we couldn't fill up spots on a ballot paper. So that's what I'm asking, if people could just nominate. There's no stress, you've got plenty of help, and that's what we need. We need candidates. So I'll finish there. Thanks everyone, and I hope I get a lot of responses, and we'll see how we go. Thanks everyone, bye.